Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dona Apriyani and I'm from PBI 3. Okay, today I would like present about my research proposal. The title of my proposal it is the implementation of Scrabble game to improve students' vocabulary mastery at 8th grade students of SMP Negeri 3 of Madang Suku 3 in the academic year of 2020 and 2021. In learning English, vocabulary ability is something that is basic for someone to have. Because without a vocabulary, it will make it difficult for someone to communicate. Thus, it can be said that language is a tool that plays as an important role in communication. Uh, encom- Encompassing language, especially English requires a lot of vocabulary knowledge. Does it can be said the ability of each student in obtaining a new vocabulary, of course, varies according to one's abilities. Okay, and then for research problem, based on the background I have, the research formulate the research problem follow is the Scrabble game effective to improve students' vocabulary mastery at the 8th grade of SMP Negeri 3 of Madang Suku 3. And then for research objective, based on the research problem I have about the research objective of this proposal is to find out whether the Scrabble game is effective to improve students' vocabulary mastery at 8th grade of SMP Negeri 3 of Madang Suku 3. And then for the significance of the research. The significance of the research would be useful for, first is for teachers, the second is for students, and the last for researchers. For teachers, such as input in teaching vocabulary learning, and then it is expected to be one of the inputs to improve quality 8th grade teacher of SMP Negeri 3 of Madang Suku 3. And the last is can improve teachers in designing learning for students, such as one way to foster students' interest in learning, and then students are more active during learning. And the last for researchers, as additional knowledge to become an educator, which use Scrabble game method to make students more active in the learning process. Okay, and then for research method, it is has there are four part. The first is research design, and the second one is population and sample, and then research instrument, and then collecting data procedure. Okay, first is research design. This research is a quasi experiment with pretest and posttest, control group design. The reason why the researcher choose the quasi-experimental design method was because this research was carried out on the 8th grade students of SMP Negeri 3 of Madang Suku 3, which consists of 2 classes and divide into groups, namely the experimental class and the control class. Before reshaping treatment, both the class was given an initial test as a pretest, then the experimental class was given treatment using Scrabble media, while for the control class without using Scrabble media. After being treatment, both classes were given a test as a post test. And then for population and sample, first is population. In this research consists of two classes, namely 8A classes and 8B. The total population in class 8 of SMP Negeri 3 of Madang Suku 3 for the academic year 2020 or 2021 was 120 students. And then for sample, the sample used in this research was 60 students, 30 students in the experimental class and 30 students in the control class. And then for research instrument, this research instrument used a vocabulary test which is divided into 4 categories, namely the name of the day, the description of the time, of family members, the name of family members, and name of the object where the class. The experimental class and the control class were given a pretest before being given treatment, which aims to determine the condition before and after being given treatment. After the treatment, the experimental class and the control class were given a post-test to determine the condition after treatment. In this study, there are several types of questions that are used and consist of 30 questions. And then for collecting data procedure, first is pretest. The researcher will give a pretest before doing the treatment. The pretest is given to the students, which aims to find out and identify the students' vocabulary skills before the treatment. And then for treatment, this treatment can be done for meetings in class. The steps as follows. First meeting, the researcher explained the material about members of family. Then the researcher divide the students into 6 groups. Third, the researcher provides 2 Scrabble game, and then the researcher explain about the Scrabble game and the rules of the game. And the next is the researcher asks each group member to look for vocabulary about the material earlier. And then each group is given 11 minutes and gets turn to play the game. The researcher asks group 1 and 2 to apply the Scrabble game along with the activity. The researcher asked them to write down the vocabulary they had acquired. After that, the researcher asked them to return to their seats and look for the meaning of the vocabulary they had previously acquired. And then, after all groups have had a turn, then the researcher calculates the score from each group and discuss it together. For the second meeting, third meeting, and fourth meeting, do the same steps, but change the materials with the another materials to learning process. And the last, it's about data analysis method. First, scoring the students' answer of pretest and post-test by using this formula. And second, to find out percentage of student in questionnaire by use this formula. And then third, divide student score categories based on the following classifications. Score such as good score category, excellent category, good score category, good category, average category, enough category, bad category, and the last is poor category. To calculate the average value, standard deviations, frequency table, and inter-vocabulary test of experimental results. Okay, I think enough for my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.